everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I would like to share with you 10 things that the school will not teach you, or at least have not taught me when I was growing up, that I sort of wish I had learned. Well, let's get started. The first one is tax. You know, tax is actually so important in our daily lives, whether you run a business or if you are an employee of an organization. It's so important that we actually understand how tax works, how much we need to pay tax, how much we need to set aside, how much we get to save, how much we get to reduce, what we get to claim and what we don't. So that's actually really, really important. And that's really interesting because, you know, I finished primary school, secondary school. I went to law school. I did UK law, Australian law for 6 years. And then when I started working as a lawyer, I was like, I have no idea what tax is. In fact, there was this one year I thought, you know what, I'm a lawyer. I can lodge my own tax return. And I never claimed anything because I just didn't really know how to reduce my tax. So I actually lodged my own tax return, and then I got a tax bill from the government saying I owed them $5,000. So then I went to an accountant and they were like, that's because, Ruth, you accidentally added an extra zero on your income. So they fixed that for me, but the moral of the story is from then on I've always gotten an accountant to do my tax return. But since then I have actually improved because even though at the moment I'm a partner in a law firm, I also run a couple of different businesses. I've started a couple of different businesses, and with that have no choice but to learn about tax. How do you save on tax? How much do you have to allocate to pay for your tax so that you don't get into trouble, you know, with the tax office? So those things are really, really important. So one thing I wish I had learned in school was actually tax. Now, if you've got young children and you have a pretty clear understanding as to how tax works, don't be afraid to teach them to your kids. Number 2, schools don't teach you about money. Well, that is quite true. They don't really teach us about money. They teach us about everything else but money. Well, the thing is, it's important that we learn how to save money, and also especially how credit card works. I feel like in the current generation, we get a lot of convenience. You know, you buy now, you pay later. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these things because yep, there might be families who are struggling. You just need to get into that rental property. You just need a furniture. You need a bed to sleep on. You need a refrigerator, etc. And those things are valid and they're important. But when it comes to luxurious things, like for example, you walk into a shop and you've got a $10,000 credit card debt, and you see that pair of shoes, which is $200, and you've got your debt, and you're living from paycheck to paycheck. Should you be buying that $200 pair of shoes? Should you be owning it now and paying it later? Well, maybe not. It's so important that we actually know how to manage our finances. And I felt like, especially here in Australia, there's almost like a pandemic, shouldn't probably use that word, but it's almost like I can see that there is people out there who are struggling. You know, I saw a documentary once. It completely breaks my heart. This family, you know, they're in their 60s. They bought a house, but for some reason they couldn't wait to go on a vacation, or they couldn't wait to buy something. So they went on credit and they piled up on their credit card bills, and they came to a point whereby there was a foreclosure. They couldn't pay their mortgage, and the bank actually took the house, and they're left with nothing. So what I'm trying to say is, it's so important that we learn about money, how to save money, how credit card works. And the rule of thumb is, if you don't have to get into debt, don't. I mean, there's good debts, bad debts. I understand that if you're a business owner, you might want to get a business loan, you know, so that you can grow your business. I understand that if you've got a family, you have to have a house. So instead of paying rent, you might want to buy a house, pay mortgage, so that, you know, at least that house, the payment is towards your own home. But what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to things that are not necessary, the luxury things that you don't need right now, really think twice as to whether you should be spending that money, or if you should be paying off your card debts and investing that money in a business or something else that will make you more money. So that's number 2. Number 3, the third thing that schools won't teach you is sales. Now, sales is so important. You know, someone said to me, if you can do sales, you can do anything. And I think that's actually pretty true, because sales is not for the faint-hearted. You know, you have to have like a thick face and a strong heart, and it really depends on how you actually look at sales. Nowadays, sales actually happen everywhere and everywhere. It's just that, you know, it may be soft selling or hard selling. For example, if you're a mom, you go to a school and you're talking to another mom, and they're saying, oh, you know what, I actually got really good office supplies from this shop. You know, they were really cheap, 50% off, and you know, I got my kids their school bags, their backpacks, their uniforms, etc. for like $30. You know, inadvertently, they're actually selling the business by using word of mouth, right? So it's important that we know how to do sales, especially if you're in the business arena, because sales, well, first of all, sales is not a dirty word. It really depends on how you do it. I believe that if I'm selling something, I need to believe in that product. I need to actually believe in that service. At one point, I was very, very much involved in sales because I believed in a particular product, and it actually made me some good money. But you know what? The skills that I acquired, I can actually channel it towards my other businesses today, because I feel like the strongest way to sell is through testimony. If someone has a good story and they use something, that means when another customer looks at it, you know, they say, well, you're going to do it again. You're going to actually, if it's a good product, then yeah, I think it's going to be a good product for me too. So customer reviews are so important. There are so many different ways you can do sales, but definitely something, if you don't know about it, or if you actually have a pretty good understanding about it, share it with the kids over dinner table. You know, tell them, say, you know what, mom and dad just did the sales today. What was the angle? What was the approach? Feel free to teach them to your kids. Number 4, people skills. So schools don't actually teach you a lot about people skills. Now, at the end of the day, it's not just about what you're good at. It's not just about the skill that you have in your career. But some people will do business with you not just because of what you do, but because of who you are, because they feel a connection with you, they like you. For example, in my career, at the moment, I'm a partner in a law firm. Sometimes I deal with, you know, different cases, and I've heard my clients, they say to me, you know, Ruth, we've gone to different lawyers. We actually sought, you know, advice from 10 different people, but we felt most comfortable coming with you because we felt like we can identify with you because you treat us like a human being, not just another client. You see, people skills is really, really important. In fact, especially in business, sometimes I think it's even more important than what you do. What you do is really important too. You need to be good at it, but learn people skills, especially with leadership. You know, nowadays we talk about leadership. You know, an effective leader don't just manage people, they actually lead people. And John Maxwell actually provides some really good resources out there, so you can check them out. The number 5 thing that schools don't teach you is entrepreneurship, as in how to, you know, be wealthy through starting a business. Now, someone actually told me once and said, unless you own the business, you'll forever be working for somebody else. You'll be forever working to make someone else rich. Now, there is a certain amount of truth to that, because when you are a business owner, you own the cell. But when you're an employee, guess what? You're working to make the other person rich. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to increase your wealth, consider starting a business. Now, it will be different. It will be different, for example, if you are a high-ticketed individual. For example, if you already work as a CEO or as an IT developer, and you're getting paid, you know, $250,000 a year, and you think, well, if I work for the next 10 years, you know, I'm quite happy to stay in my job. I don't want to have the responsibility and the stress of starting a company, and that's pretty cool. But not every single person has to be a doctor or a lawyer, especially where I grew up. You know, in my culture, in the Asian culture, is very typical, like, oh, when you grow up, you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, otherwise you're nobody. It was almost like this thing, right? And even as a young kid, I knew that. But you see, thankfully, with my pursuit, I chose to be a lawyer because I wanted to. My parents never pressured me, but it just happened to be that when I started studying law, I found out later that my dad had actually wanted to be a lawyer. You know, so it was pretty amazing. So I'm not criticizing anyone to become a professional. In fact, I'm a partner in a law firm, so I fully support that. But as much as possible, really think outside the box and say, hey, is there something more I can be doing, with my life? Entrepreneurship is actually a fantastic way to go about it that schools don't teach you in terms of wealth. Number 6, negotiation. Wow, the art of negotiation. Now, nowadays, not everyone negotiates, but when it comes to the real world, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to know how to negotiate. People negotiate in the business world, in the marketplace, even in your family. You negotiate and say, well, if you take out the trash today, to your kids, I'll pay you $2. Some do that, some parents do that. But the art of negotiation is so important, especially in the business world. Number 7, the 7th thing that the schools don't really teach you is focus. What do I mean by that? Well, you see, I remember when I was growing up, yes, you might be commended for a really good score in something, but when you're not good in something, like say for example, you get 10 A's and 1 D, people tend to focus on that. Oh, how comes you get 10 A's and you get the 1 D? What is the problem? Now, obviously, there's no problem to work on your weaknesses and get better grades. But like John Maxwell says it, he says, well, naturally, if you're 2 out of 10 in something in terms of your skill, it doesn't matter how hard you work. You might work it up to about a 5 or 6. You'll be an average. But naturally, if you're about 6 or 7, you're fairly good at something and you work really hard in it and you focus on your strengths, you can become a 9 out of 10, which means you can be excellent in what you do. And I think that's so important because sometimes in school, I feel like, especially where I came from, they're like, well, you're not great at this, whereas I think it's so important that we focus more on our strengths and say, okay, well, the weaknesses are not great, you should work on them, but how about if you focus more on your strengths so that you can be the best in what you do. Number 8, mistakes. Now, schools don't teach you that failure or mistakes is actually part of success. It's okay to make a mistake, right? Whereas, schools, I think in our system, especially where I grew up in Asia, oh, you got this wrong, but this was wrong, but this was wrong. And you tend to sort of be very negative and focus on that. But what I don't teach you is it's okay to make a mistake because now you don't make the same mistakes. I actually went to, before I came to Australia, I was doing English law. And I remember one of my lecturers, he was really, really funny. He actually said, Ruth, he says, just so you know, there are no stupid questions, because if you do not ask that stupid question, the stupidity remains in you. But if you ask that stupid question, that stupidity gets out of you. So he was amazing because we used to ask him all sorts of silly questions, right? But he always says, there's no stupid questions. So I think it's so important that we don't feel like we're making a mistake. We have to put on a forefront where we have to be perfect all the time. So that's something that schools don't teach, or at least most schools don't teach. But if you have kids, tell your kids, hey, it's okay to make a mistake, learn from your mistake, get back up, because that's going to be a part of success. Number 9, creativity. Now, it's important that we teach our kids, we give them freedom to think, to not be limited of what they should be when they grow up. Especially in my culture, I feel like, and also the education system I was brought up in, it was very much like, oh, we expect you to be this, we expect you to do that, and there's not a lot of freedom for you to actually express and be yourself. Whereas, I emigrated here to Australia. I think the education system here is a little bit more open. Like, you can be creative, you can do more, you can express yourself a little bit more. But I think not every country has that. So if you've got young kids, make sure you help them to actually unleash the creativity within them, because that's where they can become the best. Because I believe that each and every individual is given a God-given gift, even yourself. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, I feel like there's something missing in my life, I would love to do this. Maybe it's time for you to start thinking and say, hey, it's not too late. It's not too late for you to pursue your dreams and the creativity side that you want to unleash. Number 10. Oh, this is an interesting one. Finding the right life partner. Now, schools don't teach you that. You know, the thing is this, nowadays with media, you know, you get all sorts of different information about finding the right boyfriend and the girlfriend. You know, for me, I was really, really blessed because when I was 18, I listened to a message by this preacher guy, and he said, you know what, finding the right partner, if you have the wrong person, if you get into a relationship with the wrong person, it can ruin your life forever. And that really spoke to me. And so I began to pray and I said, God, I want to find the right person. I want a person who's got the same values as me. You know, I want someone who's got who is kind-hearted, who will laugh at my corny jokes. You know, so I had this list, and thankfully I met him. And you know, we met each other. You know, and so far it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey. So definitely, really think about, you know, is that decision that, you know, to have that boyfriend or that girlfriend, yes, to have the spark is really important. Like I still have the spark with my husband. When I look at him, I think he's the cutest being I've ever met on earth. Like, in fact, my husband's African. Can you believe it? He's got beautiful dark skin. But I fell in love with his personality, you know, and he's so cute. But at the end of the day, you know, it's so important that you choose the right life partner, because who you choose is going to affect you for the rest of your life. So make sure you share the same beliefs, the values. You know, you can be complete opposites. My husband and I are complete opposites, but we love each other and we work things out. So I hope you find yours too, if you haven't already. So those are the 10 things that school won't teach you. And if you've got the opportunity, teach them to the younger generation today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to see you next time. And last but not least, would you be so kind to hit the like and subscribe button so we can keep you motivated? And you know what? That's going to mean the world to me. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.